It's a Sal Pal Friday right here on the Sports Bash. I'm Mike Gill. What's up, everybody? Good to have you with us. Don't forget, Eagles and the Browns. You can hear it all right here on 97.3 ESPN. Merrill Reese, Mike Quick have the call at 1 o'clock. Sal Pal's appearance today on the Sports Bash. Our buddy Johnny G and the Berger Real Estate team bringing you Sal Paolantonio on a Sal Pal Friday here on the Sports Bash live on 97.3 ESPN. And by the way, just heard Sal do a nice little hit on the Greeny program there. Gave us a couple nuggets. And one of the things, Sal Pal, I heard you say in that Greeny conversation is about the dual threat quarterback. I thought it was an interesting conversation that we can kind of build off of. And I'm wondering, do we view Carson Wentz in this new dual threat quarterback? Does he fit the mold?
No, he does not. Definitely not. It's pretty clear that those days are over. And if there's anybody on the roster that fits that mold, it's Jalen Hurts. I mean, Jalen Hurts is the guy that they drafted because they didn't get Russell Wilson. We've all heard that story. The problem is, Michael, he's not a dual threat. He's only been running the ball. He passed twice. I believe he's only got 2 pass attempts, and he's only playing about 5% of the snaps. You know, they advertised when they drafted him in the second round that he was going to have a significant role in the offense, and that has just not been the case.
It has not been the case at all. Very disappointing the way they've used him so far, and they only got a couple of weeks to kind of expand that. I don't know that there's any evidence that they will, but one thing that Doug Pederson mentioned, Sal, this week, and he mentioned that I could do a better job of getting Carson Wentz on the move, getting him out of the pocket. Does that help Wentz enough to turn this thing around? They got a tough stretch of games, but if Doug Pederson simply schemes better, can this team, you said it last week, man, if they lose the Giants, next week when we talk, it's going to be ugly. Well, I mean, it's been an ugly week here. It's Pederson can't get the job done. Wentz is the problem. I think they both have a hand in this, but can Pederson ultimately help his quarterback out and get this thing right over this last month and a half?
Well, because this is radio, you can't see my face, and I can't see your face. So I don't know whether you're asking me that question with a straight face, and you can't see me smiling because, Mike Gill, you and I have been talking on this show for 10 weeks about getting Carson Wentz on the move. I mean, really? Time out. Hold on. You got to be kidding me. I could see this, and we're not getting paid $5 million to be the head coach of the football team. But listen, it's so obvious that the design for Carson Wentz has been very bad. And when you go 0 for 9 on third down, the reason's very simple. He's bottled up in the pocket. Teams know that. The offense is not getting any kind of separation in the wide receivers. If you go to my Instagram account, and I know you'll do, Sal Pal ESPN, with the help of my matchup teammate, Matt Bowen, we break down the failed 4th down attempt at the end of the game against the Giants, where everybody knows that the Eagles are going to do exactly what they did. They didn't have any kind of crossing patterns. They created no conflict for the defenders. It was a straight sideline route where Rieger was supposed to get a back shoulder throw. The throw was nowhere near it needed to be. He was covered by James Bradbury, who's playing probably his best football. Why you would pick on him of all the players on the field? And Rieger is not a great route runner to begin with. The guy who's the great route runner in this draft is in Minneapolis. It's the guy that they passed on, Justin Jefferson. That guy's about to set rookie pass receiving records for the Vikings that was set by Randy Moss.
Yeah, that one stings. Watching DK Metcalf last night doesn't help either. Sal Pal. So where are the organization?
You did ask me a legitimate question, and I wasn't trying to be facetious. Do they have enough time to turn it around? Not when you look at the stretch. I mean, the game against the Giants, to me, it was the game that said, okay, you're off the bye, and let's see what you got. And they had nothing. 0 for 9 on third down, they had nothing. They are, in my view, based on statistical analysis, film study, and just human intelligence talking to different coaches and players around the league, they're dysfunctional in the passing game to the point where they may be the worst passing game in the NFL. And in 2020, the game is set up for success in the passing game because of the way the game's being officiated and the way the game is so wide open.
So, and I heard you mention that with Greeny about the dysfunctionality of this offense. Now, there's a couple of things here, and I agree with you that Pederson has to do a better job of getting them. I guess the question I would have is it just Pederson's offense isn't working because this is not Carson's skill set? Could it work if Wentz was more accurate? Because I see 58%, and I wonder, is 58% the root of the problem? I mean, who completes? I could go in and complete 58%, Sal.
There's no question about that, Mike Gill. I have complete confidence in you. But all kidding aside, it's kind of there's a myriad of factors as to why they are where they are right now, and we can go through them. They sound like excuses, but they're true. They've had injuries on the offensive line. They've drafted poorly at the wide receiver position. They've had injuries at the backfield. The Carson Wentz is coming off a concussion, blah, blah, blah. But the bottom line is, if you have a quarterback you're paying $130 million, he's got to start playing like one. To me, the problem starts with Wentz. It doesn't start with Pederson. It just doesn't. It's the job of the quarterback to do three things. Here you evaluate quarterbacks the way we do it on the matchup shows with the 3 E's: efficiency, effectiveness, explosiveness. Efficiency means you're not turning the ball over. Okay, well, we know he's a turnover machine. Effectiveness is you are converting third downs. That's the job of the quarterback. Well, he didn't do that last week. Explosiveness is not there. No downfield throws. So, and to me, he gets a failing grade in all 3.
I will say this, and I kind of agree with you. I think if Pederson had a guy who could just complete a routine throw, that we're not having as much problems with this offense. He can't make the routine throw. And, yes, I can help him out. I can get him out of the pocket. I can do more for him. But come on, man, help me out. Make a routine play. That helps. Now, the offensive line, one consistent thing, Sal, has been in the Wentz era, they have not had a lot of injuries on that offensive line. Their line has been pretty stable. This is the first year where he's getting to deal with what most teams around the league have to deal with, which is terrible offensive line play.
Oh, that is true. So let's look at this game coming up. Myles Garrett's not playing in the game because of COVID-19. To me, that's overblown. I don't think that's a major issue in this game. I think the Browns have enough pass rush to mitigate the loss of Myles Garrett. To me, the bottom line in this game actually happens with the Eagles' defense. The Browns' offensive line is only one of 3 in the NFL that grades out in the top 5, according to Pro Football Focus, in both pass block and run block. So they are very good. They're set up to be good because of the way they move Baker Mayfield and because of the way those 2 backs, Chubb and Kareem Hunt, hit the hole. They're set up for success, and they are very successful. And that, to me, is where this game is going to be won or lost. Obviously, if Carson turns the ball over, then all bets are off. But if the Eagles do not stop Chubb and Hunt, they will not win the game. To me, that's the number one issue in this game. The Browns can run the ball, and they have a very good offensive line. And the Eagles, in my view, have been up and down against the run. Yeah, yards per carry is like 3.3 for running backs, but then they give up an explosive play on a reverse to a wide receiver or on a zone read to a quarterback. Twice they let Daniel Jones of Duke run half the field or more.
Their defensive line, which coming into the year has been a strength, you can go and say that other than Wentz, it's been the most disappointing thing about this team, in my view.
Absolutely, Michael, because the combined salary of that defensive line is like almost a gross domestic product of most Caribbean nations.
Sal Paolantonio, that's a good one right there. You have said the last couple of weeks, Wentz is on the clock over these last couple of weeks. Has anything changed in terms of the organization's view about what they've seen on him? I mean, is the clock ticking any faster?
That I'm aware of. So we can have this conversation, you and I, in December.
Yeah.
Because I'm not yet, I'm thinking we got one more game, right? Because then if they lose to the Browns, and they're underdogs, and if they lose to the Browns, then they got to go through this gauntlet of Seattle, Green Bay, New Orleans, Arizona. And that's just killer. So they're 3-5-1. Mike, they could 3-10-1. I can't even believe I'm saying that, but they could easily be 3-10-1.
Sure can.
The only way to survive this thing is to beat Cleveland, Dallas, which is not a gimme because that's in Dallas, and Dalton presumably will be healthy. Cleveland, Dallas, Washington, and try to steal that game against New Orleans if Breeze is not back.
Yeah.
And I saw where Sean Payton decided to go with Taysom Hill. Of course he would. We're in a dual-threat quarterback situation. And I know Mike Greenberg, when I was on with him earlier, questioned blah, 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 this, that, and the other thing. Can Taysom Hill throw the ball well enough to be a dual threat? He can throw it well enough, but he can throw it better than Jameis Winston can run. See what I'm saying?
Absolutely. No, I actually heard that and thought your point was the fact that you got a guy who's a dual threat.
Taysom Hill can throw it better than Jameis Winston can run. And so he also doesn't turn it over like Jameis Winston.
Correct.
Listen, Sean Payton's a super, super, super smart coach. And Sean Payton knows about designing offense and play calling with the best of them in the last generation. He's obviously not seen enough good stuff from Jason Winston during practice to start him. I don't know. Will Drew Brees, is he supposed to be back when they play the Birds?
They're saying they didn't put him on the injured list, so I mean, I guess there's a possibility there. But we had one of our doctors on yesterday, and he said he'd be shocked if he was back anytime within 3 to 4 weeks. I mean, that number he said seems very aggressive. And he's a guy who had been he's been a medical guy for the Patriots in the past, so it's not a guy who doesn't know football. And the injuries here, he said this injury to get him back to play football. Don't know why they didn't put him on the injured list.
Yeah, so what's happening in the NFC is real interesting, right?
Absolutely.
Because the Packers right now are the lead dog. They're the top seed. You have injuries at the quarterback position in a lot of spots. Stafford's banged up. Nick Foles is banged up. Drew Brees is out. Teddy Bridgewater, not a factor. Christian McCaffrey, not a factor. Dak Prescott is out. Kyler Murray injured his shoulder last night. We don't know the extent of that. That could be interesting. There are a lot of injuries. So it's sort of like, the last man standing. So if I'm the New Orleans Saints, and let's say Brady loses to the Rams on Monday night, and, the Saints are still in command in that division, I probably hold Breeze out until the end of December, until it gets real sticky and dicey.
Well, they went 5-0 with Bridgewater last year. We'll see if they can keep that going. That should be a good game for the Saints as well. They got the Falcons, a good test, I should say.
And Bridgewater, and Taysom Hill is more like Bridgewater than Jameis Winston's like Bridgewater. There's no question about that. We can agree on that, right?
Yes, we can. And by the way, I want to give you a quick, shout. You're going to be doing Ravens and Titans. I thought you had some good insight. I like this game. I like the Titans really took it to them last year. I think this one's going to be interesting to find out more about both these teams on Sunday.
Oh, absolutely. Well, you got 6-3 teams in the AFC, and 9 teams at least 6-3, which is the first time that's happened since the merger. So it's a race to the finish. One of the byproducts of going to 7 playoff teams from 6 is now you have play-in games in Week 11, and this game is a play-in game.
Before we roll, Sal Pal Friday, next week, of course, is Thanksgiving. We want to wish you a happy Thanksgiving. But I do want to get your thoughts on this Sunday game between the Eagles and the Browns. Will we be having a positive vibe, or will it be a negative day on Thanksgiving?
Michael, I'm going to shock and amaze you, and I'm going to say there's going to be somehow, some way that the Eagles leave Cleveland with a win. And I'm going to pick the Eagles to win this game. I'm going to pick the Eagles to win this game 23-20.
23-20. You know, Sal, I said all this week, as bad as things have been, I would not be shocked if we came in here on Monday and we're saying, where has that been all season long? It just has that kind of feel where everything is down in the dunes, right? All right, Sal Pal Friday here.
Yeah.
Johnny G and the boys, thanks to them over at Burger for having Sal on this Friday. And Sal, happy Thanksgiving, and it's always fun to talk to you.
Michael, happy Thanksgiving to you and your great listeners, great radio station. Happy Thanksgiving to Johnny G at Griner Realty team at Burger Realty in Ocean City. Thank you for supporting the show. Everybody stay safe. Stay with your family. Have peace. Enjoy. Be thankful for what we have. And I will talk to you next week.
Sal, take care. It's a Sal Pal Friday here on the Sports Bash, and he, like all guests, appeared via the Boardwalk on the hotline. He likes the Eagles somehow, some way.